right, everybody, and welcome to the Internet Sports Broadcast Network, where friends just hang out, talk about sports. We like to cover what we did last week, what's coming up in the weeks ahead, and just give you guys some friend chat about how we cover sports, just for fun. And we got a special guest on the show tonight, Smoooth Dave, but we welcome our cast, Todd Frank, Donovan Hughes, Smoooth Dave, and Hurdy Burke. Welcome to the show, guys. I got a special guest on here, Smoooth Dave.
Yes, sir.
Now, Dave, I'm going to let you tell the story because I think it'd be better for you to tell it, and then we'll talk and how we met and what we did and how long ago that was, okay?
Okay.
So dive in. Tell these guys a story.
Well, I met Hurdy through my former next-door neighbor, Rob, together, and I said, man, I want to listen. And so I came and listened one evening, and I said, man, I want to be a part of this. And I think Rob may have went on vacation or something, and I sat in for him one night, and the rest is history. And me and Hurdy had some great shows together. Was able to line up some special guests to come in and help us out with some Q&A, and it was a good time. And it was nice to see recently that you guys were back on again, and I didn't want to miss a chance to be involved again.
Yeah, and Smoooth Dave, Rob and I were on air live with the original ISBN Sports through a Windows server back in 2004. Dave picked up with me as my sidekick in 2005. We had a very popular show, correct, Dave?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we had music from indie artists. We were covering, and we had a Pittsburgh Steeler on, remember, during the draft. I mean, we were actually covering the draft with him on. Remember that?
Yep.
We were talking about
Yes,
draft
sir.
choices.
Yes, sir.
So tell them your background and how you know so many athletes.
Well, I have a background in personal security. I'm from the Chicago area, and I was involved with personal security for athletes, entertainers. And so I've had a chance to meet a lot of different people throughout the years. I used to do security for the Chicago Bears on game day. So I got to meet a lot of the players then, because I worked with the visiting teams that came in every week. So I've met a number of players, and still to this day, still keep in touch with them. That knows so many people.
And there's a game that I want to bring up to you, and it was 1997. You were on the sidelines. I believe that game was the Detroit Lions and the Chicago
Against
Bears.
the Chicago Bears.
Yes, sir. That's great. Hey, by the way, Dave knows everybody, guys, and won't be surprised if he can get some guys lined up to come on the show with us. Okay, is that cool?
Very cool.
All right. So, guys, welcome, Smoooth Dave. We're just going to jump in. So, guys, where do you want to start tonight?
Doesn't matter to me.
Todd, you want to start with NASCAR?
Well, actually, I'd like to do an NFL update.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, apparently there's been a large seizure of marijuana at a border crossing checkpoint, and it was one of the Browns player, offensive tackle Greg Robinson was allegedly caught with so much ganja that he's going to have federal charges against him.
Ooh, pulled a Nate Newton.
Well, I don't know what to think about this, but I mean, here he is, playing out there on the green gridiron, and now he's going to be behind a grid of irons, because of the green. I mean, what's wrong with this?
Did you know that, Smoooth?
I just read about it earlier, and
okay.
He played at Auburn.
I know. Shh, be quiet.
well, one of his former teammates was arrested with him.
Oh,
who was that?
Played at Auburn. I'd have to find his name, but from what I'm hearing in the last hour, his buddy that was with him dropped a dime on him.
Oh no!
He wasn't gonna take the fall.
Nice friends.
Yeah,
friends in high places, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So that just broke. So this happened at our border, Todd, Texas-Mexico border?
It was I forgot. It was one of the border checkpoints, like after you cross over from Mexico
Unbelievable.
back into Texas or California. They pick them
Unbelievable.
up, and I mean, they've got dogs, and I mean, pretty sophisticated, equipment out there. And believe me, they'll get you if they
Yeah.
find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. So, okay. So what other NFL updates, Todd? That's a pretty big
Well,
story.
that was like
That's
the
a
most
big
interesting one I saw.
story. Do we know who the friend was with him?
I'm looking for it right now. I know it was 157 pounds of marijuana. That's a lot of marijuana.
Holy smoke.
Yeah, you definitely can't just like put that down.
Just can't lay it on the dashboard. No.
Yeah, and it happened in El Paso.
Oh, man. And they're
That's
both
crazy.
Auburn players?
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Oh, darn.
They don't right now. They don't have the name up for the other guy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll find it for you.
Because he's cutting a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just seriously. I mean, it's like I like really have a lot of respect for athletes, because I mean, people don't realize how much time and effort, and I mean the sacrifice that they make in their bodies. So I mean, I really hold them in very high esteem, and I just don't understand why. Because I mean, that's such a high amount of weight. You can't even make an argument before a judge saying, well, it was for
Medicinal purposes.
glaucoma or personal use.
I'm sorry you found that little bag in the dashboard. That's all I had, I promise.
Quan Bray.
Quan
name.
Bray. Wow.
Yeah, was the other guy, 26-year-old.
So I guess the story is, if you're a pro athlete getting a ton of money, why do you need to be doing that? Is that the question?
They want
Yeah.
more money.
Yeah, but come on, man. You're jeopardizing everything. All right.
The risk / reward ratio. I mean, possibly risking his career for what kind of reward?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It makes no sense to me.
No, absolutely.
Never
Absolutely
does.
not.
It didn't make any sense. And of course, Nate Newton turned his life around, but it didn't make any sense for him either at the time. So, just weird.
Y'all remember the
Yeah.
story? Nate Newton did it twice.
Right, but you don't think that there's something involved where somebody got blackmail on this deal, do you? You want to start a conspiracy theory? You think somebody got forced into this on a favor? Let's not go there.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows?
So let's put this in perspective here.
All right.
Last year, Mr. Robinson, his base salary was $5.5 million.
Is that all? Okay.
He got a $400,000 roster bonus, another $500,000 miscellaneous. So last year he made $6.4 million.
Holy smokes.
Is that enough to jeopardize your career?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, that's crazy. How much more money do you need?
He's been in the league 6 years.
Yeah.
And here's his total career earnings thus far through last year, $29.1 million.
Oh my gosh. No need.
Exactly.
You can have any house you want. You can have any, as far as things go, you can have anything you want. That makes no sense.
I would like to interject that if he was playing for the XFL, we would all understand that money could be a giant motivating factor, because those athletes are not making, anywhere near. They're making a pittance compared to us. So, hey, we could buy that, but he's making like really good money in the NFL. So
all right. So there's something else on this story going. My gut feeling tells me there's something else going on in this story. I'm just telling you, something else is going on.
Here's the deal, though. 157 equals. So the street value of that amount of marijuana is $785,000. That's the street value.
He made more in bonuses. He almost made as much in bonus.
Yeah, hell no. Heck no. I wouldn't be doing that.
No.
There's no way.
No way.
No way.
And you got to think, and this is not just for him. This is, don't get me started on these other athletes, i.e. Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
And maybe it was for the whole football team, right?
Well, you have an opportunity that very few people get. to play a sport that you love and to be rewarded very handsomely for it.
Yep.
And so for an opportunity like that, you would think through the course of time, being mentored by veterans, having the people around you, surrounding you, to help you to create a mindset that, hey, this is not going to last long. So while I'm doing this, I have to focus. And I can't let anything distract or get in the way of me fulfilling my obligations to my contract and my team, but also fulfilling my personal and moral obligations as a man and possibly, as someone that people look up to. And so when you start getting into all of this nonsense and craziness like this, it sort of baffles me how guys can even put themselves in that position.
Me too.
When you have such a rare opportunity that very few people get.
I'm
Hey,
told.
Smoooth Dave, I got a question for you. Antonio Brown, one of the most talented people I've ever seen, as far as on a football field, and as far as physically, mentally, he's got issues. Obviously, the thing I don't understand is, well, there's a couple things I don't understand. He has an agent, right? And
Right.
I don't understand why his agent hasn't like put his foot down to a point where and make him do at least. I mean, he's thrown millions of bucks away for no reason. I mean,
so his agent did step in, but he stepped in too late. His agent was Drew Rosenhaus.
oh goodness, okay.
Drew
Yeah.
Rosenhaus basically fired Antonio Brown after his last meltdown outside his house with the police. And he basically sent a letter saying that he no longer represents Antonio Brown until he gets help. Now, he didn't say, hey, I'm done with you forever. If you get the help you need and we can get somebody to sign you, I'm back.
You've met him, right? You've met him before?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, and I don't want to be personal about this, but is he as crazy as he looks on TV?
No.
No? I mean, he's kind of normal, right?
Yes.
That's what so that's what I think he is, but sometimes he gets into like a different mode and has to be Showtime or whatever you want to call it.
Well, when you think about it, he's not very big.
No.
He's somebody that has crafted his skill and has been done very well with it. And at some point, you start to get this mindset, you get this sense of entitlement. And he wore out his welcome with the Steelers, and they shipped him off. Yep. He went out to the Raiders, wore out his welcome there. Went to New England in a very short amount of time, wore out his welcome there. And so then all of the antics off the field, where he's like a roller coaster. One day, he can't stand anybody. And the next day he's apologizing to everybody. I'm not a doctor.
He sounds manic depressant. Yeah.
I can't diagnose him, but there's obviously something wrong there. And again, his agent from day one should have been, hey man, you can't be doing this. Let's figure out something else. He waited till he had this incident with the police officers outside his house where, he just basically roasted these officers in front of young children, his own children, using language that was just not pretty, and it was not good. Not good at all. And so then his agent stepped in and said, well, I'm not representing him right now, until he gets some help. So
do you think he'll ever play again?
Personally, I don't think so.
Really? You think he's that far? He's burned enough bridges, and he's
absolutely.
Down,
normally you would say, all right, there's one team that would take a chance on him, but I'm not sure today a team is willing to take that chance to ruin the chemistry in their locker room for one person.
A year from now, they might though. If he goes through rehab and
I
say rehab, goes into and gets medical help and figures out what's triggering all his episodes.
Yeah, if they see something, a remarkable change in attitude and behavior, then I might see a team taking a chance on him. But right now, I just don't see it.
No chance. You know, patterns speak volumes, right? It's one
Yep.
thing to go to a team and have a problem, but when you go to 3 different teams and the same thing happens, that's the pattern, and
Yeah.
that's the proof in the pudding. So
Well, no,
Right.
yeah, it's a trend. Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
absolutely. So hey, Smooth Dave, and let's talk about some other players since we're on the NFL. Kaepernick,
Okay.
what do you think?
I don't think he'll ever play again.
I don't either. Yeah,
I'm not. To be honest with you, I don't know if he really wants to.
I think
don't
he's
think
just.
he does.
I just think he's PRing himself myself,
Yeah.
but that's another story. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, he got a book coming out he's working on. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, and they gave him an opportunity to
nobody
kind of
showed
audition
up.
again, and then they changed the location at the last second.
He
And
didn't show
at
up.
that junction, to me, it seemed like he wasn't really serious about trying to get back in the NFL.
Yep, I agree. All right, guys, let's move along a little bit. Let's talk about Daytona 500. Y'all got a few minutes on this?
Yep. What a crazy ending, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Blaney came out and said that he was trying to push Newman to the victory. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was really trying to help him out. But
So
they didn't connect, properly, and the car was already moving sideways, and so it just went from, good to terrible.
yeah, he got out there too far in front, and those other guys got to run, and Blaney tried to drop down, obviously, and get right behind him, but it just didn't lock up right, and it turned him. And I thought hitting the wall head on was bad enough, because look what it did to the car. It torqued it upside down and in the air. And then to see that thing twist and get perfectly hit in the driver's side and go up
while
another
still
10
in-
feet, go up another 10 feet,
Man.
and then
That was
land
crazy.
and then land on that same side and skid down, another 8,000 feet.
Well, he crossed the finish line in 9th upside down.
Yeah, unbelievable. And you said, Smooth Dave, you heard he was released today?
yes, I saw a picture of him walking out of the hospital holding the kid's hand.
Unbelievable.
Well, they definitely are making a safer car, that's for certain.
Well, Newman, I may be wrong, so I'll double check, but I believe I understand that he had an accident a couple years ago, and he added what they call in racing, his team calls the Newman bar. And my understanding is they added an additional row bar to his cocoon around him. And that might very well been the very thing that kept him alive. I'm gonna look it up, make sure, but that's what I heard from some of the racing guys.
So everybody knows that Denny Hamlin started dead last in that race, right?
And who did I pick to win?
Well, Denny Hamlin, but
Thank you.
You know why? You know why he started?
Because he
last?
cheated.
Yeah, and how was he cheating, Bertie?
I don't know what he did to the car, but
Okay.
it didn't pass the inspection.
So multiple times it failed for having the rear toe out of adjustment.
That makes sense.
And the reason why they're doing that is they're trying to get extra handling out of it.
Yep.
And I mean, they've got their standard, and they automatically disqualified his car chief because I mean they're sitting there trying to get the edge on the entire field.
Yeah.
And so they kicked him out, ejected him from even being there.
Yeah.
And then they put Denny in dead last, and for him to go from zero to hero, it's quite the story.
Yeah.
Who do y'all think had the fastest car without the wrecks? Like
Any Toyota.
Yeah, that and the whole format. When I say the format, the way the restrictor plates is this was and I don't watch a lot of NASCAR, but it was pretty interesting how the teams, like Toyota decided the first leg of the race to just stay to the back and hang out, and then the second leg they went to the front and they looked dominant.
Okay, so I mean, talking about racing and engines and everything, right? So you can have 2 engines that have the same displacement, right? But one has a larger bore than another, and they still make the same horsepower, but they still have different torque curves and everything else. And since Toyota got into NASCAR, I mean, they've just been dominating because they're stronger engines. And so your Fords and the Chevys are actually at a disadvantage. And I mean, how do you level the playing field? Because I mean, it's a pretty level, playing field in certain aspects, but they still have, engines that have different characteristics, though they do meet within the guidelines of, hey, let's make this as a level of a playing field as possible.
Yeah.
So, Smooth, you still there? Smoooth Dave. I think he's off. And anyhow, you muted his mic.
I'm here.
Okay, you're there. All right. So hey, so one thing we know about the Toyotas, Todd, right, is that they do on those restrictor plate races, they match up extremely well bumper to bumper. Where the Fords, they seem, and the Chevy seem to have a hard time doing bump drafting. They just don't line up really well. So gosh, yes. So the Toyotas are dominant. They continue to be the guys to be. So I'm with you.
One of the things I saw during, I think it was the second leg, it was Joey Logano seems, that's his name, right? He seems very aggressive.
You think?
All over the place.
He does it all. He does that every race.
And this has come from someone who watches maybe 2 or 3 a year races.
You picked up on it, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Somebody needs to get there. You know what? When they, I'm sorry. When it comes down to it, him and I'd have a date with the devil. Like
he ruins a lot of cars.
Well, I'd ruin one of us to get our face ruined. I know that.
He's had some spats. Yep, and yes, he is that way, and he makes no apologies for it.
Well,
and
Kyle Busch used to be that way.
Well, there's two people used to be that way. Brad, who am I thinking
about? Tony Stewart
used to be that way, and Tony Stewart and Brad got taught enough lessons by other drivers that he settled down and just became a great driver, right? So
I mean, you got Tony Stewart that actually killed somebody.
Well, that was an accident.
Was it?
Well, let's not go. Yeah, come on, man. On the dirt track, the guy was in the middle of the dirt track.
He was beside his car flipping.
He shouldn't have gotten out. Yeah, not till the team gets there. But that's all right. Yeah. So yeah, they're all aggressive. That's it.
Well, that's part of the race. I mean, somebody pointed out, it's like, look, that's part about racing. People get bumped. You've got to be aggressive. If you aren't aggressive, you aren't going to win. I mean, it's a dog eat dog kind of deal. I mean, just like when people go out and play football, I mean, everybody's trying to find an edge, and you've got to have that mentality like, I'm the best, nobody's going to beat me, I'm going to beat you down, right? And
right.
There's an ugly side to it. People are going to get hurt, wrecks are going to happen, and it's just that's part of like competition, right? It goes with the territory.
Well, I agree with you what you're saying, Todd, with that, but you're talking about somebody behind a machine, and they don't care. It doesn't matter if you're 6'5" or 4'5". It's almost like you're playing God out there. On a football field, a 4'5" guy runs up against a 6'5" guy, and he's dead. So it's a big difference. I mean, I mean, there's a reason why I didn't play professional sports. I mean, period. So, but what I'm saying is he reminds me of an internet. What do you want to call it? I can't say it on the radio.
Thank you. Save me
internet.
The editing.
Bad boy. How about that?
All right. So I just think it's interesting, Donovan, that you don't watch that many races, and you picked up on that right away. And Todd and I are going, "Yep, you're right."
Yeah, I mean,
you're absolutely correct.
And I was so disappointed.
And if you watch the Vegas race, it'll be no different.
So I want to preface it. On Sunday, I set to watch the race. I literally was on the couch. I watched the president do his flybys,
and then it rained.
And then it showered, and then they started again.
And then it poured.
And then they were cleaning it again. And then I clicked back on. I got off. I said it's going to be a little bit. So I went back on. I'm like, oh, okay, they're still going. They're going now. And I watched for about 10, 15 minutes. And then I look at the bottom and it says this is last year's race.
Yeah, they were showing 2019 race, and
I was so mad.
I know. You get mad.
I was like, well,
I'm like, what?
I was like, yeah, look, the sun's out. I was like, something's wrong. And then I was like, oh, that's last year's race.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I was not
Yeah.
happy.
So how long did you watch it before you realized that?
Well, I'm just going to admit to about 10 minutes. We'll just leave it at that. But no,
All
it
right.
was probably 10 or 15.
Right. We're glad Ryan Newman is out and doing good, and that's great.
Yeah.
And it'll be
Hey,
interesting. Yeah.
So what did Ryan Newman learn?
That's a question for him. I
I
don't know if it
think
couldn't have been somebody else, man.
I think what he learned is the path to the hospital is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. I listen, to be that far out in front going into the last corner, right? And that's where it happened, right? And but knowing that it wasn't over because those two guys were drafting, I don't think in his mind in that second he had any idea that was going to end up that way. He had no idea. And so, but I think it's funny. What I was giggling about was I got on Twitter and watching people. I almost said dumb people, but watching people who don't understand racing speculating on something they have no idea what they're talking about.
Right.
It's just funny. All right. Well, we're glad he's kicking. So, guys, did any of y'all watch the XFL this weekend? Smoooth,
Absolutely.
did you watch any?
I watched a little bit of a couple of games
Yeah.
on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm impressed at the competitiveness of some of the games.
Yeah.
And some of the talent.
Yeah.
It's entertaining to watch.
I wish they would adopt that kickoff in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
do.
that.
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I do too.
There'd be 40, 50, there'd be high scoring games, and it really gives each player a chance to match up right there where they're lined up against each other.
Right.
They could come up with some real creative ways to make run backs. I wish they'd adopt that.
Well, it's literally a run play.
It's just very cool.
The other thing that I think that's really fresh about it, and I would like to see the NFL do, is I like when they do like the impromptu coach interviews and player interviews right there in the middle of the game, because Bill Belichick would be like, "Get out of my face."
Well, first of all, Bill Belichick would never allow them to know the calls that were going on in the huddles. There is no way. That's the most interesting part to me, is listening to the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator at the same time calling plays against each other, right up to the play call. And,
yeah, that's pretty cool.
But it won't happen in the NFL. There's no way. They have too much money. When I say too much money, they spend too much money on analytics, and there's no way that you'd have to speak a different language every week.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
I like the dimension that it adds to it, because it's more engaging, and I don't think it's as professional, but it's like I watched the Roughnecks play, and man, they were hot, dude. They were hot.
Well,
passing was good, running was good.
They got the only good quarterback.
Yeah.
In the whole league.
Right.
And I will tell you this: if they would find 7 other quarterbacks that were serviceable, and I'm not trying to bag on anybody. They're 10 times better than I ever was or ever would be. But as far as the experience of watching it, the throws just aren't there. And
right.
The breakdown of the defense is just not there by the quarterbacks. And if they could just find 7 quarterbacks, it would be an exciting league. Oh, Houston's got theirs.
Yeah.
And he's fun, and he's on time on his throws. He looks like he knows where he wants to go, and he's athletic where he can get out of the pocket and go if he has to. I don't see anybody beating Houston at this point from what I've seen.
Yeah, they're undefeated right now, and what's interesting is the story on how he got in the league.
I have no idea on his story, but it's got to be great because he's very talented.
He got an assist from Andrew Luck, of all people. Andrew talked to his dad. His dad, Oliver Luck.
Andrew Luck's from Houston, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yep. And he talked to his dad about giving this guy a shot, and look what he's doing with it.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's the kind of quarterback that eventually could be picked up by the NFL too.
Oh, he will. He will.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will because he's on. I mean, a lot of times these guys they just need a chance.
Need to be
Yeah.
seen.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's got the work ethic, obviously, because I mean, I don't know how long they've been practicing, but it seems like him and the offensive coordinator for Houston are on the same page on everything.
Right.
And so either he's a quick learner, or they've been practicing for longer than everybody else, or I don't know. He's Superman because that's the only game, and I've watched parts of. It's hard. I can't watch a whole game. I could watch a whole Houston game, but the other games, you're just going, oh my gosh, man! Some of those throws.
Yeah.
Their running backs look good. The blocking looks good on offense. Defense, schematically, they seem like it's an NFL game.
Mm-hmm.
Schematically, there's not any crazy plays. I mean, you watch Canadian football, and you know it's not NFL. So the product to me is better than Canadian football. XFL is because of the concepts that they're using, and especially the defense. There are some defensive backs and linebackers that I was like, man, those guys. I think they can play in the league. I mean, they're and I never heard of them before, and I know most of the people that get drafted. So,
right.
I think this is going to be a great league for supplemental league for the NFL. I'm glad they did it.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, Smoooth, do you think that we could get that guy from Pittsburgh to come back on for the draft on one of our shows and talk about the draft this year?
You know what? I can do better than that.
Okay.
I can get us an executive from the Canadian Football League that has won 2 or 3 Grey Cups. He's a personnel guy.
Okay.
He's been with Edmonton, Calgary, Saskatchewan, and he travels around. He scouts NFL players, college players, and I'm sure we can get him on. He lives down in Alabama.
Okay.
And I will reach out to him, and we can get him, and he can give us the ins and outs of scouting and projection on players and all that good stuff.
I think it'd be great to have him on a show and just dedicate a show to the upcoming draft. You know what I'm saying? And give us his thoughts on what's going to happen. You guys, is that cool for you other guys? Todd?
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
Yeah, very good. That'd be cool.
That'd be fun. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, so Smoooth Dave, there's an ongoing joke on this channel, okay, on this show. Would you please tell me who the quarterback is for Cleveland?
Oh, God.
The Cleveland Browns?
Yeah, who is it?
What's his the Baker? Baker.
There you go. Hey, Donovan Baker.
Mm-hmm.
He hates you. Smoooth Dave, he hates you.
So Smoooth Dave,
so anytime you bring that up, you're gonna get a
that's a trigger word.
That's a trigger word.
Donovan.
Yeah, that's a trigger word. Sorry.
I
love you. I love you, brother. Man.
It
just makes the show fun, man.
No, he's so overrated to me.
Here we go.
Well, they went in with high expectations last year, and boy, did they bottom out.
Yeah. Well, when you got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. They all did it.
Absolutely, and I think he was humbled last year.
We'll see. I think he's very talented, actually, but I think he's just too full of himself, and I can't stand blowhards like that.
You see, all you have to do is just say that during the show some point, Smoooth Dave, and we'll go into this. Okay, so yeah, just bring him up anytime you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, so guys, let's talk a little basketball. Donovan.
Yeah.
You know when March 15th is?
That's when the Longhorns won't make the dance.
Right, and that's when the coach is gone.
Yeah, I hope, please. Of all basketball gods, please.
So they're 4-8 in the conference. Maybe it's worse than that since we've been on. I don't know. But, man.
Yeah, I think they play tonight, don't they?
Yeah, they were playing TCU, I believe.
They'll lose.
By the way, Auburn lost 2 in a row. They lost to Georgia tonight. So they're 22-4 now, and they're looking weak. For
22-4?
22-4, and they're weak. I'm telling you, they're weak.
Come on. Come on, Hurdy.
Okay,
All
but
right.
here's the thing: they lost a key player to a hamstring injury. And
Right.
it's hurting.
He'll be back.
He'll be back,
by
and
the
they'll be
time of
fine.
days. Yeah.
I know.
So-
All right.
For all you Shaka Smart haters, they're up by 8 with 30 seconds left in the game.
And who they playing?
Hey, I had it.
TCU.
I had it taped, Smoothie. So Smoothie Dave, I had it taped, but now I don't have to watch it.
Well,
That's all right. Hey,
y'all clamoring for him to be fired on March
No.
15th.
Here's my take on Shaka Smart. All right. He's a great recruiter, and I think he's an awesome guy. Period. I mean, everybody that's ever met him said he's really nice. And,
Hey, Donovan, can you speak up a little bit, buddy?
y'all can't hear me?
now
There
we
you
can.
go.
Okay, sorry. Usually I'm too loud, so I was trying to keep it.
You're fine.
No. So from being local here, everybody that's interacted with him loves Shaka Smart, and he can recruit really, really good. And for the Longhorns to have a top 10 class every year he's been here, and he's got all his guys here right now, they look lost. And when I say lost, they look like they don't have, like, I mean, some teams, they'll find a way to win. They just find a way to lose. And they seem like confidence-wise, they start out, and if they're hitting shots, they're great. And then one or two calls go the other way, and it's like they put their heads down. And I don't get it. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in my life with that much talent on a team to just, I'm sorry, crap the bed. And that's what they do. And they look lost. And I've never seen a team that much talent do that. I mean,
Let me ask you this question, because I've pondered this myself. He had a great run at VCU,
yeah,
but you're not getting top 10 recruiting classes there.
no,
Okay, you're getting guys that are playing beyond their expectations, and they had success there. Now you go to a national program like Texas, and you're not getting the same results. So now the question is he that great of a coach?
Well, okay, this is my take on that whole deal with VCU. He had, I would call them second tier players, right? That were hungry, that were, let's just say, he didn't have 7-footers. He had, quick 6'7", 6'8" guys, guards, and he developed them over 4 years, right? So I'm with him on the development part. They ran that 40 minutes of hell, whatever you want to call it, that which I love, putting pressure on a team for 40 minutes, straight up pressure the whole time, just keeping them out of their comfort zone, and he wore the teams down, and he got away from it. And he's had the personnel to do that, and I just don't get why he's gotten away from what made him so great at VCU. I mean, what is your take on that?
I just they were talking about him the other night, and all the one and done guys he's had come in lately, big men.
Yeah, they're all big men though. They're not.
Yeah.
They're not the. No.
And that's why I don't think it affects the team as what they were trying to say. Losing Jackson Hayes, Mo Bamba, perhaps even losing their big man this year, being one and done. However, I don't think that one individual translate into why they're not winning. They winning the program like they should be.
No, he's changed his whole philosophy on his actual play. I mean, I remember, and I'm gonna date myself, with Arkansas with
Nolan
Richardson, and they had, it didn't matter. It was plug and play. I mean, they put pressure. It was one. They didn't do a lot of trapping. It was straight up get in front of the player.
That's right.
Don't let him have the ball and pressure him the whole time.
Yeah.
And they run and gun, and they wore the teams down.
Yeah.
I mean, and I love that style of basketball. And I don't understand why. I mean, I do, recruiting purposes, because if you have a 6'10" Mo Bamba, you want to utilize him, right?
Right.
I get it. I get it. But you can't tell me he can't be in that formula as a back man on a full court press. I have problems with that. There's no, and the problem is what I see on the court is they have these guys, but they don't utilize them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. For instance, for a big man, and I don't want to get very technical, but I can't. I mean, I'm 5'6" in the morning, right? So I was a point guard. Obviously, I wasn't a center, but to get it to a center, they have to post up and they have to make themselves available. If they don't make themselves available, you can't get the ball into them.
Right.
That's all coaching. That's coaching. Yeah. That is the one thing that the coach does is he makes in practice when he's screened to get open, he has to make himself available. He has to make himself big. He has to make himself a target. He's got to be able to seal his defender. And I don't see that during the games when they have these big guys that are all everything. And I'm going, what do they do during practice?
Right.
I mean, you could run 5 plays for a big man. I mean, screen the screener. There's so many. You watch these other teams and you go, wow. I mean, gee, that was a great play. It's real easy. One guy goes over and screens a guy, and then he screens another guy, and then he's open. I mean, good God, I don't know. Anyway,
I would. What I've noticed about the college ball this year is the teams that really pressure the other team and really make them fight to come up court and stay on their guy, whatever defense they're running, and really make it difficult, and then have a running. Are able to run and then have 1 or 2 good 3-point shooters that can make you come out and cover them, or so they can get it inside, are doing really well. So that seems to be the trend. And big game this weekend, guys. Kansas and Baylor.
That's going to be a great game.
And Kansas is hot right now.
23 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be a great and that's in Waco this weekend.
Yeah, and so Baylor beat Kansas in Kansas, and
yeah,
I got a feeling Kansas is going to beat Baylor and Baylor at Baylor this year.
Kansas is playing well, but a lot of the top teams this weekend got upset. So it's really Dave. Maybe you could throw something in, but I'm seeing the college basketball as being kind of, and we've talked about this, kind of even Steven this year. There's not somebody you just say is going to win it all at this point.
Yeah, it's up for grabs. I mean, there's no one dominant team out there.
Right.
Hey, before we get off on this, I will tell you, who I want for the Texas coach. When Shaka's gone, is Beeline. Used to be at Michigan. Yep. So I think he was with Cleveland and got relieved, and I think he's going to be our next coach. And I want Baird from Tech, but it's not going to happen because of the buyouts. The buyouts are insane right now. But he could. But Eric Beeline, I think, is going to be our next coach. Thank goodness.
Hey,
he's a good one.
Yeah, he is very good.
You just reminded me of something. Smoooth Dave, maybe you can comment on this. I'm going to move over to college football real quick because I just thought of this. Alabama picked up some good coaches. Did I see that right?
Oh, yes, gosh, Charlie Strong.
So
can you get into this a little bit, please?
I have friends in Alabama, and when I heard about Charlie was there last week, I sent my friends a message and said that Charlie Strong is going to be the next coach in the Resurrect Coaches program that Saban runs at Alabama. Because that's what he does.
That's what he does, yeah.
Yeah. He gets all these coaches that were head coaches elsewhere, bring them in, for a year or two, and then they get a chance somewhere else. And I think he's going to do well with them.
Wow.
I always thought he was a great defensive coordinator. When he was with Florida, they had some amazing defenses.
Yeah.
Of course, they had a lot of talent too.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I think he, I felt kind of bad for him at UT because he just seemed kind of overwhelmed. Right. And it's kind of one of those jobs where man, veteran coaches can be overwhelmed because of all the media and just the
Sure.
donors and all the
Absolutely.
BS that they have to
But-
go through.
Yeah, and the expectations are very high.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different level than when he was at Louisville. Whole
Right.
different level.
So what happened? What happened at South Florida then? Because that was a perfect situation for him to go to. His recruiting ground. He had talent, and every
Yep.
year they got worse. So what happened?
Yeah. They just couldn't win. He just could not win.
I don't get it because I was so excited for that hire, but during the games and what I saw on the field, I was at the same point I am right now with the
I think
basketball team.
I think they won 10 games their first year, and then they just went downhill after that.
Yeah.
So I think Alabama doesn't want to lose any more national championships. That's what I think.
Well, you know what? The preseason poll just came out, and they had them third.
Yeah, exactly. My point.
I think they had Clemson 1, Ohio State 2, and them third.
My point.
Well, you know what? Saban's okay with that. He don't want to be number one right
He
out
don't.
No, he doesn't. He
You're
likes
right.
you're right.
You're
He
right.
doesn't want that pressure. You got it.
Yeah, because, I mean, look what it did last year to him.
He killed him.
Yeah.
Get down to that last game against Auburn and lose.
Auburn beat him. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
guys. So we've got to hustle along. It's 9:19 in the evening on Wednesday. We're on the Internet Sports Broadcast Network with Todd Frank, Donovan Hughes, Smoooth Dave, Hurdy Burke. And, hey, we're going to cover boxing real quick before we get off, guys. That's okay. Big fight this weekend.
Wilder.
Who's buying it? Did you buy it?
I'm going to, I think.
Yeah.
Todd's talked me into it.
Okay.
And I think Wilder has the best right hand I've seen since probably Lennox Lewis. Mike Tyson had the hooks, not necessarily a right hand, but man, he is just devastating.
So, who do y'all think won that first bout?
I didn't see the whole fight. I saw the last 5 rounds of the fight the other day.
Dave, did you watch the first fight?
No, I didn't.
Man, it was good. I mean, Wilder landed 17% of his 430 throws. Fury landed 26% of his 327 throws. Wilder was real conservative. Fury is absolute entertainment. I mean, the guy's out of control.
He just swings.
I have to say this very carefully, but he has been very explicit about his training regime. He's cut back on no Diet Coke. Says he's drinking 18 liters of water every day. I'm going to have to say this very gently, but he's using his right hand 7 times a day, and he's working his jaw muscles on females.
So go to Google search.
And then very unconventional. He's very over the top. He's saying that he may weigh in somewhere between maybe 270 to 300 for this fight.
What did he weigh in the first fight?
Weighed in at 256.
No, there's no way.
And then Wilder weighed in at 212.
He's a lot lighter this time. I just saw the deal. You can actually see his abs now.
Well, yeah, I was watching he's all covered up when they did the press meetup today, which got into a pushing match and a whole bunch of words said. And I mean, they're building a hype, man. I mean, they're going to make a lot of money. Wilder's getting $4 million. Tyson's getting $3 million. And then there's a undisclosed split of the revenue for pay-per-view. So, I mean, they're
going to make
a lot of money off of this.
Yeah.
And they're definitely doing their part on building the hype around it.
The funny thing is, it doesn't matter what they do. I'm going to buy it or not buy it. It doesn't matter. That to me, it doesn't matter if they get into a fight at their press conference or if they're not.
Right.
It depends on what type of fighters they are.
The thing is, it's been super hyped, so
Yeah.
it's going to have a good audience, right? It's been on everything. You see all sorts of ads everywhere for it. So cool. So that's good. So Smoooth Dave, you have fun tonight?
Absolutely, man. It was a blast.
Man, I'm looking. Are you guys happy with Smoooth Dave being on a couple of our broadcasts here? Is that cool for you guys?
He could
Absolutely.
be on every one of
I
them.
think so, Dave. I think we should officially welcome you to the team, my brother.
Oh Oh man.
So we would love to have you, especially
Yeah,
since
thank you.
now we had mentioned at the beginning of the show before we went on air, the guy we interviewed, what was the guy's name from the Pittsburgh Steelers we had on the night for the draft?
Steve Conley.
And his who is it that plays for the Utah Jazz?
His nephew, Mike Conley Jr.
Mike Conley. Yeah.
Have you met him?
No, I've never met Mike Jr. I met his dad,
Right,
Mike
right,
Jr.
right. That's cool.
Mike Conley played for Houston Rockets, if I'm not mistaken, for a while.
He started in Memphis.
Junior?
Yeah, he started in Memphis, and they traded him to Utah.
Okay. All right. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of somebody else then.
So Dave, any
Yes.
predictions for anything coming up we need to know about?
Uh,
Any come on, man, you always come up with something we should launch. What is that?
I'm surprised we didn't touch baseball tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, we got a few minutes. Let's do that.
Well, I'm
You want to wait and hold that because the Houston team's going to go on another week.
Oh yeah, let's hold off on that. But I think the baseball season is going to be interesting this year.
You think?
The way it's going to go on for another year. The Astros.
Oh, absolutely.
Goodness gracious.
I wonder how many pitchers are going to throw pitches at Houston players this year.
Not enough.
Well, just saying.
Nah.
It'll all work out, and
Yes.
But the thing is, it's just gotten really controversial last week. We'll talk about it next week. So, guys, thank you for being on tonight. This is the Internet Sports Broadcast Network. Smoooth Dave, Todd Frank, Donovan Hughes, and Hurdy Burke. And man, we really enjoyed it tonight. Smoooth Dave, thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to having you on every Wednesday night. So, guys, have a great rest of the week. Okay.
Hook 'em.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
Bye.